How you going, guys? And if you're new, this video is part of a Bhagavad Gita playlist found on my channel where we're covering every single chapter of this Bhagavad Gita, this beautiful text. We've done 6 chapters already, and that's important because the Bhagavad Gita is divided up into 3 sections. The first 6 chapters are mainly to do with karma yoga, the yoga of action. The next 6 chapters we're going to cover, 7 to 12, is to do with the practice of devotion. How do we devote and surrender to a God? And the final 6 chapters, 13 to 18, are mostly to do with knowledge. Knowledge about this world. Covers so many interesting topics. But these next 6 chapters, 7 to 12, let's get into it. Devotion. How are we meant to devote to a God? And why it will be life-changing on your spiritual path. If you're anything like me, just quickly, I grew up in religion, around God teachings, rejected them, became an atheist, then went to Buddhism, then Neo-Advaita, then traditional teachings. And traditional teachings talk about a God, which I neglected, I ignored. And I knew this knowledge intellectually, but it didn't change my life until I started thinking, let's do some of this devotion stuff. Very reluctantly, but now I've fallen in love with it. It is honestly the way. We can understand oneness intellectually, but if we're not feeling it, what's the point? To feel oneness is to feel love. And to feel that love for reality is to direct that love towards a higher power. Just my suggestion. You're going to do what you're going to do, aren't you? But it's a game changer, honestly. So without further ado, let's go through chapter 7, verses 1 to 14. We'll stop there, yep. So, chapter 7, verse 1. The Supreme Lord said, "Now listen, O Arjuna, how, with the mind attached exclusively to me and surrendering to me through the practice of bhakti yoga, you can know me completely free from doubt." The practice of bhakti yoga, love of God. It's the path of love. The more you love, the more you devote, the more you surrender, the more happiness, peace, and love you're going to feel. As Krishna says in chapter 4, verse 11, I love this quote, "However my devotees approach me, I approach them in the same way." The more you love and devote and surrender to Krishna, he does it back to you. He mirrors you. So he's saying to know him completely free of doubt. If you want to know God, if you want to know Krishna, the path of love. We can understand oneness, we can understand God intellectually. And if you think you understand God, you haven't truly understood God, because God is beyond the intellect. Any God that we think we've understood is a limited God. Because if we can conceptualize God in our intellect, it means our intellect is greater than God. Verse 2, "I shall now reveal unto you fully this knowledge and wisdom, knowing which nothing else remains to be known in this world." Knowledge and wisdom, theoretical knowledge. It's so easy for the intellect to get knowledge. Knowledge about Advaita Vedanta, about God, about whatever. But true wisdom is found in the heart. True wisdom is a deep understanding. So Krishna is saying, I'll give you knowledge and wisdom. The knowledge of God, the knowledge of reality. But to feel it, we need to surrender to a higher power, a higher principle. Our feelings are prior to thinking. So if we want to feel oneness, again, it's prior to language. It's a heart-based path, the path of bhakti. Verse 3, "Amongst thousands of persons, hardly one strives for perfection, and amongst those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth." There are so many humans, and the majority of people, or a lot of people, don't even care about this God stuff, this God teaching. Who cares? Not even interested. And even the ones that are interested, many just pay lip service to the teachings that they're involved in. In other words, a lot of people say, look, I'm a Christian, but they don't do any prayer. They don't go to church. That's just part of their identity. Yeah, I'm a Christian, I'm a Jew, but it's just a label. Also, many people that are devotional, it's devotional for themselves. Please God, give me this. Please God, give me that. God is like the servant. This is totally fine because to have a faith in a God is great to begin with. But ultimately, what God wants from us is to totally love and surrender God for God's sake. Not about what God can do for us in this world, just loving God for God's sake. And that's going to be the true source of inner peace and freedom. Very hard. That's why Krishna is saying, again, amongst thousands of persons, hardly one strives for perfection. And amongst those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. This is a very difficult path. The rewards are infinite, so it takes a lot of work. And we're all at different stages on the path. All we can do is start where we're at and try to be better. That's the beautiful thing about Hinduism, I love. They talk about reincarnation. We've got many lives to figure this out. It's not all condensed into one life. That's why I don't like these teachings where they say you've only got one shot. If you mess it up, game over for you. Too bad. You're going to hell or a bad place. It doesn't make sense because you can't force everyone to be devotional to a God. This is a slow process. Our soul is slowly reuniting with God over many lifetimes. It's naturally attracted to the material world, but slowly, it realizes the limitations of this material world and finds the true source of happiness in God. Slowly. The fact that you have a faith in a God, green light, well done. Because what that shows you is you're willing to surrender the ego. The faith I've noticed that is required in Hinduism is have faith that if you follow this process, you're going to get the results. Just like you have the faith in your teachers and professors in school. You go in with full faith that this person knows what they're talking about. If I follow the steps that they're giving me, I'll realize the knowledge that they're talking about. That's the only faith you need. Verse 4. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and ego. These are the 8 components of my material energy. Everything he's described is what makes up the material body. Earth, the body's made of earth. Water, the body needs water. Fire, there's heat in the body. Rub your hands together, that generates heat. Air, the body breathes in and out oxygen. And space, the body takes up space. They're the 5 elements of the body. Also, mind, intellect, and ego. The 8 components of my material energy. This material world is Krishna's lower nature. It's all Krishna, but this is his lower nature. Verse 5, such is my inferior energy. Everything I just described. But beyond it, O mighty armed Arjuna, I have a superior energy. This is the Jiva Shakti, soul energy, which compromises the embodied souls who are the basis of life in this world. Verse 6, know that all living beings are manifested by these 2 energies of mine. I am the source of the entire creation, and into me it again dissolves. They're the 2 energies of God, the lower material energy and the higher spiritual energy. And this reality is just a mixture of the 2. There's many living entities and there's many inert entities. For instance, a rock has no soul. A dead piece of wood has no soul. I say dead piece of wood because when it's a tree, they say it has a subtle body. They say plants, animals, humans have a subtle body, a mixture of material and soul. But when you chop the tree down, it's obviously a dead piece of wood. So is a rock. So is an ocean, a river. Doesn't have a soul. But this basically makes up reality, the material and the spiritual. And again, Krishna says in that verse, I'm the source of the entire creation, and into me again it dissolves. They say that creation goes through, it's cyclical. Manifestation, unmanifestation. Creation, destruction. Creation, destruction. Nothing's ever truly created because only God is, only Krishna is. Think of it like a movie screen. There's a screen that's blank. That's prior to creation. Then on the screen, a movie, a creation emerges. And then eventually it goes back to a blank screen. This is the entire cycle of creation. And these cycles of creation apparently last 300 trillion years? Some crazy amount of time. The Hindus' view on time is amazing, mind-blowing. I think it's the 311 trillion human years for one cycle of creation before the next cycle begins. Because they say it's 100 days of Brahma. 100 days of Brahma is like 300 trillion years. Mind-blowing amounts of time. Verse 7. There is nothing higher than myself, O Arjun. Everything rests in me as beads strung on a thread. There is nothing higher than God. This is the thing. This is the thing I had to wrap my head around. If we're trying to understand God, does God have form, no form? How can God, for instance, a lot of Christians can't understand the Trinity. How can God be the Father, Son, Holy Spirit? There's many Christians I've spoken to where it's hard for them to get their head around, or they don't even believe in it. Some denominations of Christianity. What are we expecting God to be? If we can understand God, what does that mean? It means God is limited. God is limitless. God is beyond comprehension. Again, Krishna says, there is nothing higher than myself, O Arjun. Everything rests in me as beads strung on a thread. God is, here's the best way I like to view it. If this was a dream, if we knew we were dreaming, picture God as the dreamer. The dreamer is not constrained by the limits of the dream. In this dream, we have time, space, we have laws that govern the dream. The dreamer transcends the dream. Where is he? Where's God? Where's the proof? You can't find proof. You're trapped in the dream, looking for the dreamer. Impossible. God transcends the dream, but paradoxically, the fabric the dream is made from. So when people say, I don't believe in God because I can't understand God, how could there be a God, all this kind of stuff, God is totally incomprehensible. Do you want a God you can understand? It would be like an ant trying to understand the human mind. This is why the ego, the intellect, needs to surrender at some point and go, look, I don't know. I cannot understand God. Many people say, religious people just have a faith in something that they can't prove. Well, as an atheist, can you prove there is no God? You're better off being agnostic, where you say, look, I don't know. So that's what God's wanting us to do. Just surrender to the fact that we don't know and follow these steps and watch what happens. Krishna is saying it's only going to end good for you. All you need to do is surrender, love and devote to me and watch what's going to happen. But it is so hard because our ego, our intellect can't do it. It's like, I don't understand it, so I don't want to surrender. I don't want to submit. Give me proof, then I'll submit. It doesn't work that way. Submit first and then you'll feel the proof. It's an internal experience. It's an internal shift beyond logic and intellect. It's a felt experience. Verse 8. I am the taste in water, O son of Kunti, and the radiance of the sun and the moon. I am the sacred syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and the ability in humans. He is the taste in water. Water has no taste. But without water, you wouldn't have your taste buds. You couldn't taste food. If your tongue was totally dry, you can't taste anything. Water is so foundational in food as well. All food, if I'm not mistaken, has a little bit of water, even the slightest amount. He's saying he's the taste in water, tasteless, yet the foundation of all taste. And that's the common theme he's running with. He's the taste in water. He's the radiance of the sun. The sun is heat and light. That's its intrinsic nature. Krishna is saying he is the light of the sun. You can't separate the two. I'm the sacred syllable Om. Om is the primordial sound of the universe. He is the ability in humans. He goes on a little bit more. Verse 9, 10, and 11. I am the pure fragrance of the earth and the brilliance in fire. I am the life force in all beings and the penance of the ascetics. Verse 10, O Arjun, know that I am the eternal seed of all beings. I am the intellect of the intelligent and the splendor of the glorious. Verse 11, O best of Bharatas, in strong persons I am their strength, devoid of desire and passion. I am sexual activity not conflicting with virtues or scriptural injunctions. He's the pure strength of the strong, devoid of desire and passion. We use our strength to gain our desires and passions. But Krishna's saying, I'm pure strength, devoid of desire and passion. I'm the sexual urge not conflicting with virtues or scriptural injunctions. Krishna's just basically saying, he's the foundation of all reality, all existence, the intellect of the intelligent, the strength of the strong, the taste in water. He's the foundation. Again, if this was a dream, he's the source of the dream, transcends the dream yet the fabric of it. Us as the little dream characters cannot know the dreamer. Verse 12, the three states of material existence, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are manifested by my energy. They are in me, but I am beyond them. These three modes of material existence are sattva, rajas, and tamas. You'll hear them throughout the Bhagavad Gita, and there's a lot of detail about these three modes of material nature in chapter 14. Krishna is saying he's the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, sattva, rajas, tamas, but he's beyond them. Again, he's the source of the dream. He's responsible for the dream, but he simultaneously transcends the dream. Verse 13, deluded by the three modes of Maya, people in this world are unable to know me, the imperishable and the eternal. Deluded by Maya, this material world, made up of sattva, rajas, and tamas, it deludes the soul. If God is a fire, we're like a little flame in that fire, searching for union with the fire. We're always never separate, but we think we are. And we think happiness is to be found in this material world. Picture God as a fire of happiness, and we're a little spark of happiness. Our soul is naturally deluded by Maya. It's naturally turned to this world and thinking, there must be happiness in this world. Let me go find it. This God stuff, not for me. There's happiness here. It eventually lets us down, and we slowly start turning towards the true source of happiness. But until that point, we're going to stay deluded by Maya. Everyone's living their life. Everyone is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. But eventually, if you're watching videos like this, you're starting to wake up and realize, this world isn't here for happiness. It must be in God. Or you've realized that fact and you're slowly trying to reunite with God. Or understand you were never separate from God. Verse 14, the final verse I'm going to read. My divine energy Maya, consisting of the three modes of nature, is very difficult to overcome. But those who surrender unto me cross over it easily. This world of Maya is God's world. It's God's game. And it's very hard to defeat the game. We're trying to defeat Maya. It's basically impossible without God's help. That's what Krishna's saying. He's saying all you need to do you want to defeat this game? It's probably worse than the Squid Games. The Squid Games seem very hard, but at least a few got through. This game of Maya is almost totally impossible to overcome without God's help. And that's what he's saying. Those that surrender to me will cross over it easily. Ask the creator of the game, can you help me out? Can you give me the cheat code? That's all God is asking from us. Krishna's saying, look, I'm willing to help you. This is my game. I'm willing to help. You just need to ask. And how do we ask? Devote, surrender, put the ego away, put all our intellect away, and we'll defeat Maya and become united with God again. We never were separate from God, but just that sense, that feeling, I'm separate, where's God, there's happiness here, that will be erased. Krishna will remove that illusion and we'll be good to go. But many people don't want to surrender. This word faith, this word surrender, it gets a bad rap. I guess perhaps if you're coming from a Christian background, it can get a bad rap. But again, in Hinduism, what kind of faith do you need? The faith that, look, just follow what we're saying and you'll get the results for yourself. Also, Hinduism isn't threatening you. It's not saying, do this or else. If you don't do this before you die, you're toast. You're going to hell. That's the beauty of Hinduism again. They talk about reincarnation. Our soul is on a journey back to its union with God, or understanding it was never separate from God. So all you need to do, live your life, try to be better, try to be more ethical, try to get a bit more devotion, all that kind of stuff. Move at your own pace. But the more effort you put in, the quicker you'll get to the end. But until that point, you're going to do what you're going to do. You're going to think what you're going to think. And another beautiful thing about Hinduism, and what Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita 2 or 3 times. My most popular verse I love quoting, chapter 4, verse 11. However my devotees approach me, I reciprocate accordingly. Krishna's mirroring us. If we say, what God? I don't believe in a God. We get this material world. If we devote to God in the form of Jesus, we get Jesus. Or Allah, we get Allah. Buddha, we get Buddha. So Krishna is always mirroring what we're doing. So it's up to us. When we're ready to change, Krishna's going to change with us. And the ultimate goal, love, service, devotion to God, and God will do it back to us. Love, service, and devotion to us. Beautiful. I'll leave it there. Hope this video helps. Take care.